Welcome to Terrifying Story, where the darkness tells its own stories. Here, eerie whispers and chilling tales will guide you into a restless slumber. Dim the lights, close your eyes, and let the nightmares unfold. Subscribe now, and let the horror lull you to sleep, if you dare.
It was 2 a.m. in rural Georgia when David finally clocked out of his late-night shift. Exhausted, he got into his car and started driving home along the empty, winding roads. The highway was silent, and the only sounds were the occasional chirping of insects and the soft hum of his engine. About halfway through his drive, he noticed something strange. A shadowy figure standing in the middle of the road. His heart pounded as he slammed the brakes, stopping just inches away. The figure didn't move. It was too dark to see its face, but it seemed to be wearing tattered clothing. David hesitated. Should he get out and check? His gut told him to stay inside. His fingers tightened on the steering wheel as he quickly glanced left and right. The woods on either side of the road were eerily still. Suddenly, a whisper-like sound filled the air, soft but menacing, as if someone was breathing right next to his ear. His pulse quickened. He turned his head, looking into the darkness outside his window. Nothing. Then, a sharp tapping sound came from his back seat. David's breath hitched. Slowly, he turned his head towards the rearview mirror, but there was nothing there. Shaking it off as his imagination, he locked the doors and pressed the gas. But as he sped forward, he noticed something chilling. The figure that had been blocking the road was gone. His heart raced. He kept driving, telling himself it was just exhaustion playing tricks on him. But then, he heard it again, the whisper. This time it was clearer, closer. You shouldn't have stopped. David's hands gripped the wheel so tightly his knuckles turned white. He couldn't breathe. His skin crawled as an invisible presence seemed to press against the back of his seat. Summoning his courage, he glanced in the rearview mirror once more, and this time he saw it. A pale, grinning face with hollow black eyes staring right at him. The car swerved violently as David let out a scream. He nearly lost control, but he forced himself to keep driving, heart hammering against his chest. The temperature inside the car plummeted. His breath came out in shaky, visible puffs. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the face was gone. David refused to stop until he reached his house. When he finally stumbled out of the car, gasping for air, he turned back, expecting to see someone inside. But the back seat was empty. Yet, as he stood there in the dead of night, one final realization made his stomach drop. His rearview mirror was missing. It had been ripped clean off. The old Blackwood Hotel had stood abandoned for over 50 years. No guests, no staff, only silence and decay. Locals whispered rumors of strange sightings, but no one dared to stay after sunset. On May 29, 2009, a group of Florida University students, eager to investigate the eerie past of the hotel, arrived at the rotting building. Their goal was simple: explore, document, and prove that ghosts were nothing more than myths. At 10 p.m., as they stepped through the dust-covered lobby, an unsettling chill filled the air. One student, Daniel, shivered as a sudden cold breeze brushed his face. Strange, given that all the windows were sealed shut. His breath turned visible, his skin crawling. Something felt wrong. He turned slowly. Standing behind him was an old woman with long, tangled grey hair. Her hollow eyes locked onto him. Her bony fingers twitched, her lips curling into a sinister grin. Daniel's scream shattered the silence. The group turned in horror, but the woman was gone. Only a faint whisper echoed in the empty hallway. "You shouldn't be here." But it was already too late. The hotel had seen them, and it wasn't about to let them leave. It's 3 a.m. in rural North Carolina. A lone weathered car slices through the inky darkness along a narrow, winding road. Inside, the soft hum of the engine and the low murmur of a family conversation barely disturb the silence. James, the weary driver, glances at the dashboard with a hint of unease. His wife Elena sits beside him clutching a warm scarf, while their 2 children, Aidan and Lily, exchange nervous looks in the back seat. They've just returned from a long vacation, and the quiet of the night seems unnaturally heavy. Without warning, the car jolts as a dark shape abruptly appears in the middle of the road. James slams on the brakes, the tires screeching against the asphalt. In that split second, the headlights reveal not a creature, but a vague, indistinct mass that seems to hover rather than stand. Time slows as the family peers through the windows. The road is empty now, yet the lingering feeling of dread is unmistakable. Outside, the dense trees and rolling fog appear to hide secrets that refuse to be uncovered. A low, almost imperceptible hum begins to resonate through the night. It's soon joined by distant shuffling sounds, like footsteps crunching on gravel, coming from the darkness beyond the car's beam. James's eyes dart nervously between the rearview mirror and the unyielding road ahead. Eleanor's hand trembles as she grips the door handle, and in the back, Aidan and Lily whisper anxious questions. The sound swells, punctuated by a soft, eerie murmur, as if the night itself was speaking. Unable to shake the oppressive feeling, James steps out of the car into the cold, clammy air. The light from the dashboard fades behind him as he ventures toward the source of the disturbance. His breath fogs in the chill, and the gravel crunches underfoot. As he approaches, his mind floods with local lore. Tales of a family lost on this very stretch of road decades ago, cursed to wander these woods. In hushed local legends, villagers spoke of a phantom presence, a sorrowful spirit trapped between worlds, whose restless murmurs still echoed on foggy nights like this one. Standing beside the car, James listens. Then a whisper, so soft it's almost a thought, slips past his ear. "Don't go." He whirls around, eyes straining against the impenetrable darkness. The wind is eerily still, and for a moment nothing but the sound of his own heart pounding fills the silence. Yet in the periphery of his vision, a fleeting glimpse of a gaunt, almost translucent figure appears behind him before vanishing like mist. The air grows colder, and a sense of impending doom settles in his bones. Back in the car, Eleanor tries to restart the engine, but the vehicle seems to have lost its will to move. The radio, once a comforting background murmur, now crackles with static and distorted voices that hint at another time and place. The children's eyes widen in terror as they witness fleeting shadows crossing the windshield, accompanied by the soft sound of sobbing carried on an unseen breeze. It's as if the car and the road itself have become ensnared in a spectral trap, a loop from which there is no escape. Inside the darkness, the tension crescendos. James, torn between the instinct to flee and the compulsion to understand, retreats back to the car. But even as he slams the door,
The world outside seems to shift. The headlights flicker, momentarily revealing a macabre parade. Figures that blend with the swirling fog, their eyes glowing faintly with sorrow and menace. The whispers become clearer, more insistent, a lament for lives once lost, and a warning for those who dare trespass. Elena's voice, barely above a whisper, pleads for escape, while the children cling to each other, their faces etched with primal fear. In a final twist of fate, as if driven by an unseen hand, the car begins to move on its own. The familiar road transforms into an endless twisting pathway, lined with ancient gnarled trees. The spectral voices crescendo into a chorus of mournful wails. James's eyes, wide with terror, reflect the unearthly glow from the road as he contemplates the possibility that they might be trapped in this nightmare forever. The camera lingers on his face, a portrait of despair and resignation, while the ghostly presence circles around them, its intentions as enigmatic as the night itself. As the screen slowly fades to black, the fate of the family remains shrouded in uncertainty. Did they escape the clutches of the cursed road, or have they become another chapter in its endless tale of sorrow and dread? The final images of the car's taillights disappearing into the gloom, leaving only the echo of whispered warnings and a lingering question. What truly haunts the dark roads of North Carolina? Whispers on the Dark Road is not just a story, it's an invitation to confront the unknown. The horror lies not in the visible, but in the unsettling feeling that some secrets are best left in the dark.